Going on. Hey y'all, and welcome to the positive reviews about G5, the movie and the show, and what they've done right, and how I think that the movie and show actually hold potential for a bigger than G4 reality. I mean, yes, G4 was great, okay, but I'm going to say this straight up right now. I do see potential with G5. All right, so I've been kind of that's G5 My Little Pony, and while others might complain and say, "Well, oh, it's a terrible show," well, here's the points that I think. Yeah, I mean, yes, at first there were some points, and this is from a skeptic. These are my opinions. My opinions pretty much strictly pertain to me. If you want to hate, go ahead and hate. Knock yourself out. It's not gonna matter to me because I'm just gonna basically be stating my opinions. So yes, at first, the very first I think it's like 2/3 of the movie. It's racism bad, racism bad. Yeah, okay, we get it. That was a problem, but not as big a problem as it's made out to be. Yeah, I know it's social justice related, but the idea behind it and the origins behind it and the concept is that instead of them being divided, they should work together. The point being that, well, I'll have to send you the link. But this is my personal opinions. I won't be able to talk too much on other subjects. No drama, please. Anyways, the thing is, I think that G5 has potential. And personally, from what I've seen, and from watching watching the movie, then watching the Netflix show that just came out, like, I think, what, today? Yeah, today. I've seen where it can go, and I've seen where yes, let's put it this way: the animation, it's not as good as the movie originally with the show, but there is a lot of detail put into it, and there's a lot of love and care put into it. There's a lot about the understanding of how friendship should be held in a high regard, and how it's more important to be selfless even when you're frustrated. When it comes to your friends, you want to make sure that you're keeping them happy as well as keeping yourself happy. It's a balancing act, and sometimes you're admitting to being in the wrong. For example, in the show, from the start, I mean, started out kind of rough. I'll give it, some leeway because it's just starting. It's really getting off the ground with the new generation compared to Generation 4, and there was a lot of animation errors in G4. Let's not be too hasty to not account for that. Cinemare Sins could had pointed that out a dozen times, among other YouTubers. But even with those animation errors, there's going to be things that it takes time to do, and it takes a lot of heart to work with these things to get them to where they're at least somewhat functional. Yeah, the colors are a little bit brighter, a little bit more fun. The detail is a lot higher and more eye-catching. I like the detail. Personally, I think that the detail could be 4K worthy, which is basically, well, you know how modern 4K TVs are. So I see where the story's going. I see how they're bringing back, and they're actually bringing back the lore slowly but surely. With at first you don't see that you don't at first you don't see, like in the movie, at first you don't see too much of anything too grand, but the characters do go through their journeys and they do develop. And of course, Sunny Star Scout as a character, yeah, she's seems naive, but when she's pushing to say that yes, they can reunite, the idea is that she's trying to save the world as it stands, because otherwise what's happening is, instead of the three tribes being together, what's happening is they're separated. So they're mad at each other, they're conflicted with each other because they hear all this negative response about each other, and instead of actually embracing the idea of unity, they fell apart, hence why the magic disappeared. The crystals are a representation of the element of magic as well as friendship. When the three tribes unite under the same banner and under friendship, the magic is restored to Equestria, which I think was a great part of the story, even though we know that was Sunny Starscott's goal in the beginning. Sure, at times it was there was a lot of this is bad, this, and this that were social justice related, but at the same time, but then you counter that with the way they worked with the characters, and Hitch actually, as a character, actually developed the most, and I actually kind of like Hitch personally because I kind of recognize with him. It's a long journey to find out. Yeah, and it's a long journey to find that point of where you're like, okay, well, maybe I should have reconsidered. And there are a lot of references to G4, like in the show. They actually have a baby dragon now in G5. And in the show, if you've watched it, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched it, there is a baby dragon that looks similar to Spike, but different in coloring. Yes, CG's come a long way, from computer generations come a long way, because if you think about it, the very first CG movie release, I think it was Toy Story, it was a smash hit. And now people are whining and whinging about CG everything and this and that. Give it some credit. It's come a long way from where it started. Computer generation is an animation with computer generation is very difficult. And it takes a lot of time and effort to understand those kind of programs. As a matter of fact, 2.5D, like G4, great animation. There were some flaws here and there. We can all point out those. I can look at the rose-colored glasses nostalgia and be like, G4 was great, but I see the potential for G5. And the way the story develops, especially, again, spoiler for those who don't know, that the Earth Bunnies actually do have magic. They just, at first, aren't aware of it, or they feel like they're left out because they think they don't have it, but it's actually there. It's just waiting to be unlocked. And in a critical moment, it does become unlocked, and things actually, you can see the show kind of progressing. You can see there's references to G4, like the Crystal Lighthouse, which is actually pretty brilliant in itself, because it's another way to kind of reiterate that there is a power of friendship there. How do I put this? When you see the Tree of Harmony and you watch G4, it's kind of one of those things where after what happened to the Tree of Harmony, how it was, what season was it? Shit, I can't remember the name of the season or the episode, but I know that it took a different form after it was shattered. However, with the lighthouse being destroyed, it was basically like the base, the origin point, where Sunny Starscott had basically started her journey. And of course, her father had kind of helped her along by teaching her the right way about things instead of the fear-mongering way. A lot of the G5 problems that people see, I don't really see that many. I see potential, and I see where the story can really grow. And modernizing, every show's gonna modernize. I mean, it's inevitable. Without it, it's like okay, for example, Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go. Even though there's a lot of gripes about that, I can still say there are some funny parts. Yeah, it's more child friendly. It's more oriented towards children. It's not as adult oriented, but that's okay. That is okay, because that means a new generation gets into the series, and they might actually grow to actually find the original Teen Titans, and who's to say they won't love that? I mean, you've got to look at it, but that was just kind of but transitioning back to G5, the new generation does have important messages about friendship, about community, about stability. And if we can at least work together and agree that there are important messages there, then G5's already helping the next generation. Because the next generation is going to see that and be like, there are some nice messages coming from here that could actually teach us about how to progress as human beings. If you think about it, yes, it's going to be it's heavily child-oriented, but that's okay. You've got to put yourself in a position of, okay, I'm not going to be here forever. And nothing lasts forever. So the next generation is just a step up in the chain of evolution and the chain of growth. And it still carries the same valiant messages and the same important messages, and how friendship is an important aspect of the social construct of humanity. Because humans are social creatures. Just like the ponies are social creatures in G4 and G5 and previous generations. All of this leads to the point of understanding society as a whole, getting to being able into the point of debate without conflict, without heavy conflict, like violence. Yes, there are going to be times when things don't go your way. But even though Sunny kind of lived in an echo chamber for a bit, when she thought it had failed, she didn't realize yet at some point she was actually right. Yes, because she believed that if they united, if they could get the crystals together, it would bring magic back. She had already been in that mindset because the values of making alliances, building friendships, building a steady relationship with your friends is an important aspect of self-development. Without it, we'd all be just hermits living in the mountains. I mean, if you think about it, yeah, there's a lot of problems with society. There's a lot of problems in the pony society. Modernization is not a bad thing. Every generation that comes after G5 is going to still carry those same important messages about unity and friendship. And that's what really matters. And I hope to see more of the series as it develops and see more on how they develop the story. They're slowly reintroducing some of the creatures that they missed in the movie. I didn't mention in the movie because they were just trying to focus on the main storyline of friendship being the most important aspect of anyone's development. So I'm hoping that they actually continue to make further steps to expand the lore. We might even find out that there's things we didn't know about from G4 that could be added in G5. Things that we didn't know existed because G4 didn't have enough runtime to get there. So G5 is the next step in expanding the lore. Just like G1 started the lore, then you got G2 who expanded on the lore, G3 who expanded on the lore a bit more, G4 then expanded on the lore even more, and now we're getting to G5, so let's give it a chance. From someone who's heard a lot of negative reviews about it, I was very skeptical. And at first, I was very wary of actually watching the movie, and I watched it with my fiance. And I will say this, it did change my mind a lot. There's a lot of positive attributes to it, and it starts from understanding each other as individuals, as not just one race or one group, instead of the tribal mentality, which is exactly what started it off. It's the idea is that everyone can be like one big happy family if we give each other the chance to get to see the truth in each other and get to see the good in each other. There is good out there. That is something I have never doubted from the get-go. So I see where unity actually is a big part of this. And if you look at the way that the movie had started, and I'm going to point these very crucial details out. The fear-mongering. Guess which party has been fear-mongering the most? The Democrats. If we take it in an American standpoint, and we take these fear-mongering, it's harming us as a society. If we can fight the fear-mongering and learn to stand together, our government, if it's run by the Democrats and they want to turn it to a communist hellscape, well, if we can band together, we have a chance to set things right. That's the point of the movie. It's not about the tribal identities of, oh, well, this group's this, but this group is this, and such and such and such, negative, 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 feeding into the fear. If we can face our fears head on and actually get to know those that are from different areas or different ethnicities or different races, like different groups, different religions, different ethnicities, different races, if we can get to know these individuals and know them as people like us, then we stand at a stronger point and can actually hold in the event of a civil war. Because while there will be some that will be demonizing the idea of friendship, there are those who, if they push that boundary, if they put their faith in the belief that there is good out there, that there are greater things for us to come, then if we can stand together instead of divided, we hold a chance of rebuilding and making a society stronger and the world a better place. One can do a lot if they have the heart to stand by what they believe. And if that belief is in the good of all others, then the steps that it takes, they can build friendships. Those friendships then spread because those friends make friends. And then those friends make friends. And it's a continuous cycle. Eventually, at the end of the day, all of these people with like minds stand against the hate and the fear. And once they can overcome the hate and the fear and work together, it's completely a different story. It is like a semi-truck going at a little bitty dinky car. The hate is the little bitty dinky car. The semi-truck is the bravery and courage to stand together and unite under friendship and family. Well, it's not that hard. Just start spreading the positive messages. Support your friends when they need support. Acknowledge when, and have them, and if they can in turn acknowledge when you need support. You're already building a more stable relationship, a more stable friendship, and you can do this with your family as well. And if you have any partners, for those of you who might not, this is a chance for you to get out there and even little acts of kindness, even throwing a few dimes or pennies for a homeless person to get something to eat. Hell, even a few dollars if you have it. Little things to leave great impressions. Believe it or not, the greatest thing you can do is understand that we're all the same. We all bleed red. All of our bones are white underneath. No matter if you're black, if you're Asian, whatever, we all bleed red. We all have white bones. So we're all white on the inside. All that matters is that you stand by the belief that there is good, that we are all one race, the human race. The greatest lesson of all is that we stand together against real tyrants and fearmongers like the mainstream media. Because if we can stand together, they have no power. No power. If we let them push the fear and we fall into that gap of fear, we become pawns in their game. But if we can fight against the fear, if we can bring to light the lies, we have a chance. Then the pawn can become a rook. And then from a rook to a knight, etc., growing indefinitely until there is an unstoppable force of good. That is how I see the storyline. Well, in that case, you should be at least nagging your friend, Catalyst, about your. So if there's anything, yeah, you can be like, well, okay, if they refuse to do certain things, try to remind them, hey, this is your life. This is the potential you have. Make them realize the potential, and they will see better things. Well, and I got a little funny little story that I want to mention, and this is part of the reason why I see G5 as a good thing, because my fiance, she had a lot of issues with certain individuals, and once I was able to convince others that she had grown and changed enough, they saw the good in her, and now they're all tight knit, so I can prove that it's possible. It's little things. It's seeing the good. It's seeing the potential. It's seeing that everybody has a unique skill. Everybody has a talent. Everybody has a gift. Embrace it. Don't let fear hold you back. As Theodore Roosevelt once said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. So don't be afraid to be true to yourself. That's what G5 is about. That's what it's about. Standing by your beliefs, sticking to your guns.
Hey, door.
Well,
did you leave the old unlocked?
And snap at you. Sorry,
I just asked you a simple fucking question.
I'm in the middle of a video. I said, yes, it's unlocked. Sorry. Sister. She was getting mad at me. I might talk with them and see what's going on and start the situation. Of course, it may depend on how severe the drama is, too. But I'll talk with them about it. But again, standing together is the biggest thing that fearmongers and tyrants hate, because they have nothing else. They only have those tools, and those tools inevitably always backfire. Eventually the truth comes to light. Eventually there is a stronger community that comes out better if we can stand together. And under the same banner of, hey, we're all people. We all live in this big green marble. Big green and blue marble. You know what I mean? We should be taking the opportunity to make friends and get to know each other. Hatred is just a tool for those who don't understand what real love is. And that's the secret of G5. So I bid you adieu. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. So if you like this video, hit that like, comment, and subscribe for a future video. When I update on future videos, I will probably be doing more videos like this as the series goes on and bring more light to how much potential I've seen and where the story's headed. All right. See y'all, motherfuckers. Love you. Bye.